John and Yoko, first of all, they had millions of fans. So that's it's coming at them all the time, and their fans are dropping out and are against the war and whatnot. And they basically they started with the position really that I guess it was the idea of peace, not war. And you can have war is over if you want it, etc. So their basic thing was you don't have to. They weren't. It wasn't. It really wasn't political. It was conceptual. Is the idea you can have peace. It's up to you. If you like that. And so that was their thing, and they explored different ways of doing that. Beside from just making songs about it. And doing be-ins, and bed-ins and things like that. So they experimented with little things, and I think John has said like he wasn't that happy of being involved with like a lot of the political side that they got drawn into, because I mean, guys, when they first went to New York after Imagine, when they were living down on Bank Street, this little thing they got from. I don't know. I can't remember. Somebody from the Loving Spoonful let them this little house they had. It was on the ground floor in a little brownstone bank. So it was teeny, and they're surrounded by Jerry Rubin and Abby Hoffman and Bobby Seale and all these people who basically wanted to bring their name to this so they could, these guys were pretty radical, and. And John and Yoko got sucked into it a bit, and it's not that they finally pulled back, particularly when Nixon was leaning on them really hard. We pretty much knew that the phones were being tapped. I got a little Nagra voice actuated recorder and put it on the phone, so I was recording all phone calls.
Right. Yeah.
Because we knew all phone calls were being recorded, and we knew they were editing stuff. So they may end up with a tape with John Yoko saying, "Let's go out and shoot the fascists."
Yeah.
Like that. When they had they might have said something. Well, people are talking about shooting the fascists, but no, we don't believe in guns. You shouldn't do that. They could use like so. My goal was to get a tape, the actual real words, so they couldn't.
Wow.
They couldn't do it. Nowadays, the technology is you can tell when something's been edited, but back then I don't think it was that sophisticated.
So that was a climb.
So anyway, yeah, and outside of Bank Street, there was this guy taking apart and putting back together a motorcycle all day long. See, and I knew it's an FBI guy or a CIA or whatever. I don't know who the fuck knows, So. And you remember the Attica, you heard about the Attica riot? In the
Attica State, yeah.
Okay. So there was going to be a fundraiser for Attica, for the, families and whatnot, and up at the Apollo Theater in Harlem. And so John said, well, I want to go, but I'm scared of going up to the Apollo in Harlem, man. That's funky up there, So Bobby Seale got invited. So don't worry, we'll take care of you. We'll send our guys down. So these kids show up in black berets and leather jackets, black leather and guns and, like that. And they're going to be the bodyguards, you see. So I'm thinking, oh, shit, I mean, it's like
ultimate.
So so we had a couple limos pull up to take everybody up to there. So I go out and I tell the guy with the, who's repairing the motorcycle. I said, okay, we got these the Black Panther kids are here, they're pugnacious, whatnot. All we're doing is going up the Apollo Theater. There's going to be a thing up there and, a fundraiser. And then they'll probably either go back to Jerry Rubin's or come back here or something like that. But we don't want any trouble. So I don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, so they got sucked into the political side of things. And when they realized that Nixon was very serious, I mean, as serious as a heart attack, and this was not going to go well for them, and they were basically, John was in a permanent state of deportation. You know, I mean, we're fighting it all the time in the courts, but it couldn't go on forever. And I had taken a letter Yoko had written, or I'd flown it to Switzerland and given it to Bill Buckley secretly to ask him to ask his brother, who was a senator and a buddy of Nixon's, to get a message to him.
Right.
And I don't know what was in it. Yoko's never told me what, but I know this much. At a certain point, they gave up Bank Street. They went up to the Dakota. They stopped hanging out with all the radical people. They still were, they didn't turn their back on, it wasn't like that. They didn't denounce anybody or things like that, but they started playing nice,
Yeah.
And eventually John got his green card,